Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of WrestleCast. Yes, we are back and we still exist. Uh, I'm your host, Richard Blair Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
What's up? What's up? Yeah, episode 200, where we just forgot to post the other ones and hit the record button. But a lot of shit. We were wondering, was like, yo, we're not getting any views like we were. Oh shit, we didn't post them. So there goes that. Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The problem has been resolved.
Yeah.
And we're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about disappointment.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, for those that are wondering, tonight's show, there's a couple of things we definitely want to talk about because if you haven't been watching WWE, you know that this past week, Vince McMahon promised that he was going to shake up Monday Night Raw as well as SmackDown. And we got a chance to see that on Monday and Tuesday. So, obviously, have a lot of thoughts coming out of that, and we wanted to share that tonight with all of you that are watching. If you're watching live or listening later, we definitely look forward to hearing your thoughts as well on what transpired on WWE programming this week. But just to start off the show, we need to talk about what went down with this whole Vince McMahon promising, oh yes, and then using the word shakeup to have everybody think, oh, well, this is going to be people getting drafted to Raw, so on and so forth. So before I give my thoughts, I'm going to go to someone else this time around. I'm going to have you start us off, Dana, and let us know what were your immediate reactions to the superstar, Vince's, the announcement that the McMahons made on Monday Night Raw.
Okay, so like everyone else, I expected there to be, basically an unannounced draft. We was getting a surprise draft, and maybe we would get some NXT call-ups, but mostly focusing on the draft. I know that other superstars have been appearing on other different, I guess you would call them shows or programs, even though it's still under the same WWE umbrella, but, they've been making appearances on other people's shows. So I expected, there'd be like an official type of thing where, they start drafting people. Instead, I just got a lot of disappointment. I got really nothing. We got a handful of call-ups and just the announcement that the McMahons, all four of them, were taking over both SmackDown and Raw. And as a result, I just didn't feel anything. I'm sorry. They acknowledged that their programs have been tanking, that they said that fans deserve better, and they gave that really impactful, powerful speech. But I didn't really feel any change, especially during the show of which they announced that they're shaking up everything. So overall, nothing happened. And I was just kind of really disappointed about it.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what you have to say. I do have a couple other thoughts, but before I give my thoughts, I'm going to go to you next, Mr. Adam Vale, because I believe after seeing this, you said, "Oh, we absolutely, definitely need to have the show." So, what were your thoughts on how
Man,
this all went
it's
down?
just like Dana. I thought, all right, well, it's after a pay-per-view event, and Vince is coming out, and they're gonna go and they're gonna announce some call-ups, all right, and some move around from the brands. But when they all came out, and I think it was more of when Triple H got on the mic, and I mean, it's really he does an amazing job of blurring that line of what's a work and what's a shoot. And maybe it's his intensity that he brings, but that's what makes him a great character. And when he was coming out, he was like, "You're the authority. You're gonna do this. When we're getting this, we're gonna give you what you want." And the fact that Vince was going along with it, and I was waiting for him to come out and just say something silly, like remember when he was like, "You know what? We're gonna get rid of what you don't like and give you what you do like, because we're here for then, forever," and a whole new spiel that they give. And I was like, wow, where's the shut up and do all that stuff? I thought he was going to say something, go into character, but he didn't. He went along with it. And that's why it made me feel like, wow, this is they're really actually pulling a shoot on this. even when Stephanie was talking about it, I was like, yeah, our product hasn't been that great. We've been running some of our rosters into the ground type of thing. They're really worn. It's basically going along with what everyone's been saying. It's here it is. They have such a talented roster, a thick, huge roster of talent, and they're using the same handful of guys, rotating the same shit. If somebody was to jump back into wrestling from 3 years ago, and you're like, all right, what's some of the big storylines? Well, let's see. We got Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They're still fight. Really? They're still fight. Well, they stopped for a while. Then they got back. Why is this happening? Why are they doing this? That was over. Oh, you missed it. They got back together and they were friends again. Then they started fighting. Yeah, it's just, there's no need for that. And then even with Balor, here this guy got hurt. He becomes their first Universal Champ, gets hurt. He comes back, and they just threw him to the bottom of the pile. That made no sense. You spent all this money. The guy came in with all this hype from Japan and from NXT, and you just buried him. You buried him. And then they wonder why people were booing. And with the Roman thing, and booing and booing and booing. And it wasn't just because Roman isn't entertaining, wasn't providing anything. It was just you're feeding him great quality talent and burying them in the process. It was horrible. And that's why it's just amazing when he was like, all right, we're going to start listening to you guys. And the other thing that popped up, if you guys remember when they used to do the app, I remember, was it Cyber? I don't remember what it was called, but they had it where you would go to the app and vote for your matches, what you want to see. I thought they were going to bring that out too. When he started saying, hey, we're going to give you what you want. And then I was like, are they going to start doing that again? It's like, hey, we're going to do the match. We have a bunch of matches lined up, but for the main event, pick what you want, pick the guys and pick the match type. I thought they were going to start doing that again. I was like, oh, wow, but that's not what they did. And I wasn't expecting an instant change. I wasn't expecting what I would say what they did with Smackdown, that gauntlet match and stuff with the women's. That was awesome. That was unique. That was different. And it was enjoyable. But with Raw, I wasn't expecting too much. I'm thinking long term. It just makes sense. Think about it. This is the end of the year. Most places don't ever make. I mean, my job is we all have big meetings going into the end of the year talking about next year, and I think that's more of what this was going in. And the fact that Triple H was so vocal, and we all know he is the mastermind behind the NXT brand that we see today. He's giving us that wrestling, and that program is awesome. Yeah, it's only 1 hour, so it's great. But if he can apply just that 1 hour spread out somehow among the 3 hours, that'll be awesome. Because they have the talent. The talent is there. They had Tyler Breeze come out, and that's great to see him. I mean, he's doing he's coming out now because the whole thing with Fandango being injured. But still, they could have thrown anybody else there. And remember, if you guys remember, if anyone listens, remember this. He was a big deal in NXT. He was a champ.
Mhm.
He was a huge deal. That song, I mean, I don't remember the last time besides Shawn Michaels that they actually had a wrestling talent singing in his own song. They made a song and he's singing in it. So I'm like, they really wanted to push him. He had a good look. He was a good worker. He had that whole vibe going on, sort of like a John Morrison type thing, and it was working. And then poof, they bring him up and nothing happens. And we've seen that time and time again with all these NXT guys coming up and nothing happens, to the point that I don't want Ricochet or anybody getting called up. Stick with NXT. And I think the other issue that I had with all of this is that they keep flip-flopping on what NXT is. 1 minute it's their developmental area. Oh, well, they're down there developing. Next minute, when it's time for pay-per-view, they're hyping up as like it's its own brand. Oh, get ready to watch NXT. Get your tickets. And then, it's going to be on Saturdays leading in. It's going to be amazing. Okay, you don't do that for a developmental area. You do that for a brand.
Mhm.
And so if you're a brand, then make it a brand and keep people there. And that's sort of how they've been doing it. I mean, Johnny Wrestling has been there for forever. Johnny Gargano's, has been there. So if they're doing that and they're making its own brand, I don't know. They're flip-flopping on that. But the whole point is that Triple H gave his little speech, and for some reason I found it very believable. And when Vince said he needed his family involved, I know some people were saying, it's the same old, same old. This is all storyline. But I was trying to read between the lines is he's going to be open to them doing input, which, as we know now, is not the case. Writers write, and then he says yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. And I think now, maybe because the slumps of the ratings, the poor buy rates at the live events, or this new Fox deal that kicks in next year. You can't go in with horrible ratings and no one's showing up. And so maybe he's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I can't do it alone. All right, you guys, take the helm. You're running. And we talked about this off air, but NXT is hot. People buy out the tickets. You talked about WrestleMania. The event hasn't really been announced, but NXT is already sold out. So the interest is there, and it's all about the numbers, and it's all about following the money. And I'm sure he follows the money as a ship. If they're doing this, I don't even know if he watches a product. That's the thing. I don't know if he watches NXT. We know he watches Raw and SmackDown because he's all involved in it, but he's not involved in NXT at all. So to probably see something like that, because it's all about numbers, and say, hey, wow, well, Triple H, Paul, you're doing a great job. So maybe go ahead. Let's see if you can work your magic on the big stage. So if anything, this could be more of a test to see if he can actually do it. And I think he can, because it's a simple formula. More good quality matches. That's it. More matches, less of the BS storylines, backstage junk. You have guys that know how to work. You're hiring people from Japan and other areas that know how to work, and they're not working. They're doing bullshit stories. Just put them in matches. He even said it. He said, we're going to give better match types, matchups that you haven't seen before. There you go. That's all we ever wanted when you hire these guys. We don't want to see these new faces, whether it's from Japan or the Indies or NXT, come up and get buried. Look at Sanity. Sanity's been up, over a year, and just now we're starting to see something with them. Are you kidding me? They were like the top heels. They were in the last War Games. And it's just, it's stuff like that. So when they did the splash screen showing, I was sort of confused. When we saw with EC3, obviously he looks like he's getting the big push and a few others. Only confused because two things with that. I don't know, and they didn't say, are they coming to Raw or SmackDown, or is the whole brand split? Yeah, is the whole brand split over?
No, here's the thing. They can't do the brand split anymore because of the Fox deal. Also, they said this is talent coming to WWE. So they're either going to Raw or to SmackDown.
Okay. All right. See, there you go. So this was a way of easing people in, but not really saying, oh, by the way, the brand split idea, that's dead. But that's the vibe I got when they had all four in there, and they're talking about, new matchups. Well, new matchups means you got to be moving people around. You can't just say it's just NXT people coming in. So they just killed it, and I think it's fine because there was no point to that. It just, I get the whole idea of like, well, we're going to create our own competition because we destroyed the one we had before, but it's just not believable. None of it's believable, especially when they had that, man, what segment was it a few months back? That someone went backstage, remember? And you can see, and you saw Shane standing over, it was Roman Reigns, right? When he went backstage, and you saw Shane standing right behind Vince McMahon there, and he was just like, oh, quiet. I'm like, why? You knew this segment was happening, fucking running off camera. Why are you standing there? That just ruins the whole storyline that you're running your own show separate. You're not linked with them at all. The whole feud and all that. It was bullshit.
I think that was the thing where Reigns went back there looking because he was complaining about Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. See, I knew it was him. And when I saw that, I'm like, and they think we're stupid, and that's the whole thing. The days of you think you're a smart mark, that doesn't apply anymore. Everybody's fucking smart because we all have the internet. Back in the day, you needed to be part of a dirt sheet. You had to get Brad Meltzer's sheet, the Observer, and subscribe, and you had to actually look for it. Now you can go to Bleacher Report, get the app, type in wrestling, go to Yahoo, Bing.com. There's a wrestling section right at the top, and it spills everything. So everybody knows. Everybody's in the know. Even if you're not in the know and you're at a live event, somebody can tell you. Say, oh, here, look, just go to this website. This is everything that's going on here. That guy's leaving. This one's coming. So everybody's wised up to it. It's just Vince needs to see that old model doesn't work.
And I he's being forced to see that because of the Fox deal.
Yeah.
And also, there could be a random theory. Even though I believe that Vince will never retire, ever, he'll walk the hallways as a ghost, he could be lessening his reigns and therefore passing it on to the children and son-in-law. And as a result, that whole announcement could just be them stepping up now and him giving them more control.
Yeah, oh, I absolutely see that. I absolutely see that because he knows he's getting older. He's in his he's in his 70s. So I'm sure he's probably saying, you know what? I can't do this forever. I gotta groom these kids to run it. Sort of like how his dad did it with him. So it's like it's the same thing. He gave them all jobs before, but just actually get them in there. So
you know, I know you already mentioned the NXT thing. Yeah, I definitely have some things to say on that. But I before I even get to that, I agree with what you both had to say about this whole announcement thing. Although I do have a few harsher things to say in regards to how it all went down. First and foremost, I have to say this: Vince McMahon looks absolutely horrible. You know,
he's old. What do you? He can't be Mr. Muscle Man on Fitness Magazine for the rest of his life. I mean, he's not a.
No. I understand that, but when I saw him come out there, and then I remember I seen him when he took the headbutt to Kevin Owens. This guy has aged dramatically, and that doesn't feel like that was that long when he had that thing with Kevin Owens.
That was over a year ago.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess it was long.
Because he was still on SmackDown when that happened.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens.
So the thing with that whole situation is that when I saw that go down, it just like I looked at Vince, the dark rings under his eyes. I could tell that this guy is exhausted. So yeah, passing on the reins to, Stephanie, Shane, and Triple H, which is fine. What I don't like though about how they handled that whole thing, again, using that word shake up, making you think it's going to be a draft when it really isn't a draft. Now, I'm curious to know what they're going to do moving forward besides the NXT talent, because I just think it'll be interesting to see what happens as we get into WrestleMania and stuff like that. Because I did hear that there is expected to be the first call-ups are going to happen before the Royal Rumble. So I don't know who is going to be called up first of those people.
They need to figure something out quick with 205 Live. Because first off, it's not live, so they got to drop that from the name, all right? Because they tape it. And the other one is that they should just merge it with SmackDown. I just don't see the holdup. I mean, Mustafa Ali gets called up, and he's an amazing wrestler. They have other amazing performers. Just link it in. Stop making it so separate. There's no reason for it to be separate. Why can't
that might happen?
Yeah, it should just coexist within the brand, and people could jump and back and forth. I know they sort of pigeonholed themselves when they were like, all right, 205 is the weight class. So then it's like, all right, we get it. But before, it was known as just a cruiserweight. Hey, if you know how to flip flop and you were fast, that was it. It was just a faster division, a weight division. So they need to come up with something because 205 is not going anywhere. It's not growing. It's not doing much. And the fact that they decided to make a tape shows that. They're like, you know what, forget it. There's no point doing the live. We'll just do a tape. I haven't seen the numbers, or usually they release the most viewed shows on the network, and always NXT's up there and stuff, but I don't know how far 205 is on there. And now that it's taped, I'm sure it's not that high up, because then you can just look it up online. Like, oh, what was the result? Should I even bother watching that hour? No? All right, forget it.
Yeah. No. You're absolutely right about that. So the thing is, though, with this whole announcement, like I said, nothing felt like it was really new, a fresh start, but it didn't really feel that way to me. You have the same matchups, obviously.
So you thought it was a work? You didn't think it was a shoot? You thought this was all...
I thought this was obviously them acknowledging that the ratings have been low on Raw, so they're trying to address it head on to try to appear to people and just give them the impression of, yes, we're going to make changes. But still, they said that to hold over time, because there haven't been any immediate changes yet. Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, Mustafa Ali is on SmackDown now. That's great for him. And he's been doing an excellent job in these matches so far. So that's excellent. But they have not really shown me anything to really show anything representative of a fresh start yet, until they do something with these NXT call-ups, until they actually change up the matchups. Because again, you still have Seth Rollins is still in this feud with Dean Ambrose. We obviously know that that's not over yet, because he has this match with Corbin that they pre-taped for they pre-taped this past week here for the next Raw on Christmas Eve.
Mhm.
Yeah, but some of these feuds are not over. You have Jeff Hardy now feuding with Samoa Joe, and I'm actually interested in that feud because of the story that they're trying to tell of Jeff Hardy having his all the issues with alcohol in the
But
past. So I like
I also found it funny when Jeff said to Samoa Joe, he's like, "Yo, you've been here for how long, and you haven't had one
yeah,
title?" And I was like, "Yeah,
yeah,
that
yep.
is true. Why is that?"
That's harsh.
It is harsh and it is shocking because he's such a great talent. He can work, he can talk. I mean, Vince always said, he said, heels make better champs. Well, there's your number one heel right there. Make him a champ.
Yeah.
People will love when he cheats and boo him, and he'll cheat against all the faces, and he's fun. He's fun,
Exactly. So I would think because of that line being thrown in there that maybe you do have a plan now to do something with Samoa Joe. Maybe there is a plan to do something with Finn Balor, but again, we have to see it to believe it. And I don't really like you said before. Maybe there wasn't going to be any immediate changes, but I still think you have to do something to. Obviously, we'll see what happens when the new year starts, whether or not they're going to actually put more of these changes forth, like more matchups and stuff like that. But I am not convinced yet that anything is really changed yet.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that I think I did notice a change is that they stopped with the stupidness of Lars Sullivan. It's like, oh, SmackDown and Raw both trying to get him to sign a contract, and he's already under contract. Shit, he was with NXT. Do you really think we're stupid? They really think we're stupid.
Well, hey, these
It's
same
like,
people were promoting Nikki Cross, and Nikki Cross is already on SmackDown. She has already debuted,
yeah,
and when she debuted, it was when she got squashed by Becky Lynch. So
Mhm.
I didn't even understand why that announcement was made that this is another person. We already know that she's on the main roster, but now we know. Okay, well now maybe we'll see more of her. That's what they meant when they made that announcement.
I was like, yeah. Now they're actually going to point out that fact that she's really there full time, type of thing.
Yeah.
But man, that Larson really pissed me off. And they were like, yeah, hopefully we can get him to sign it. Who's feeding you this shit? That is horrible. What do you mean, hopefully? He's under contract. He already knows it. We know this. It was so bad. So,
But yeah, but yeah, pretty much the announcements that were made, I think that was made to it wants to try to keep people's intrigue to get them to watch to see when is this going to happen, because they want to try to extend ratings, but I don't think it's going to work. Again, I have to see more to really be convinced.
the one thing that I found shocking was the EC3 part, because he got a larger piece in that little montage that they showed, but also they're really, and I know that Vince was against this for a long time, because remember, it was all about he would sign talent and then give them a new gimmick. He's like, yeah, but you signed them from other promotions because they're big stars from what they did, but he did that so he can own whatever gimmick he gave them. It was all about rights. Now we're seeing Triple H doing the opposite. He's letting Ricochet come in as Ricochet. EC3, EC3. What does it mean? They don't want to bring that shit up, but they'll just leave it at EC3. He's Ethan Carter III, which is the whole thing with Dixie Carter. That was a storyline gimmick name. But whatever, he's EC3. And they're letting him keep it, which is the point. And they're bringing him into the main roster with that. So you're going to finally let the talent grow in your promotion based off of what they've achieved in previous promotions. And that's unheard of. I mean, we saw it with AJ Styles, and I thought that was a fluke, but now we're seeing it with this, because EC3 has not really been in NXT that long, and he's had some matches, but nothing memorable. He was part of that big battle royal thing when he for the title, North American title, but not big feuds, not like Aleister Black or or Finn or Joe or Ciampa, none of that.
But I kind of they're grooming him to be like a John Cena type.
Oh yeah, but exactly. But that's why when I saw it, I'm like, oh, he's getting the big push, because the man can talk. He could definitely talk. He's talking. He's got that clean cut look. Vince loves a clean cut look. He's got that, and he's got the physique. And this is, for those who don't know, this is his second go around. He was signed many, many years ago before he went to TNA with WWE, and he's part of NXT, and they cut him. He did some matches, I think on Smackdown, whatever, but he got cut. They just didn't use him. So he really developed as a wrestler and as a talent in the business over in NXT at TNA. And now that he gets to come in with that, he didn't have to gimmick himself. He's still EC3. He's got all the gimmick stuff going on with his finishing move and with the 3 fingers, and then letting him do it. That's great, because then it's like, all right, you know what? It worked on that smaller scale at the other promotion. Let's see if that works on this one, because if it does, we're all making bunches of money, and I hope it stays that way. And then when we're done with this part, then we'll talk about some of the people outside of the promotion that I think will show up with their gimmicks.
But can we just talk about, when I was watching the whole vignettes that they was doing, how they put in Nikki Cross, and remember they've been teasing Nikki Cross for 2 years now. I was just watching this and I'm like, you guys can't be serious.
I'm confused if maybe they don't know what to do with her, because remember, even when they did that, when they announced the first women's pay-per-view, and Stephanie came out and she wanted in the ring, and she wanted all the girls to come out on the stage, all the women. She was there. Nikki was there. She was the only NXT person there, but she was there. So it's like, yo, she's already part of SmackDown. She's there. It's like they don't know what to do with her. I know she's good, and I remember hearing some stuff that they kept her in NXT longer so she could help the younger girls coming in, the younger women coming in. I say they're girls because a lot of them are young. They look very young, but they said, she's a seasoned veteran wrestler, so it makes sense. You don't want to have all your seasoned talent leave, because then who's going to help groom? And I know a lot of people do like NXT. A lot of the wrestlers, maybe one is because it's not too far. If you live in Florida, then you wrestle there, and they don't do all the big traveling like SmackDown and Raw. So it's a better deal. But
I just wonder that, and I also wonder how much, a lot of these people, unless you watch NXT a lot, these people are not going to know who Say Lacey is. So
I was so surprised. Again, I think that's all on looks, because her in-ring performances have never been like, whoa, can't wait. I don't see the big deal with her. And I think it's just because she's pretty, and I was like, all right, we got to move her up. She's pretty.
A feud with Lana or something, or Nia, since she's not doing anything.
Yeah, I just don't get it. But
she it seems like she definitely will probably be on Raw, because Mandy Rose apparently is somebody that I guess they're going to be focused on SmackDown, unless they have other plans. But I mean, yeah, I must admit I didn't see most of her work either. So I didn't really know too much about Lacey Evans. So I'm curious about that. The general consensus agrees that that was one that was questionable.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. But when I was thinking also, when we just talked about EC3, I'm like, what other wrestler got called up quick from NXT that really didn't do much? And then Drew McIntyre, he got called up real quick. They were like, oh, well, let's put you down. And nope, we can do something with you. You're ready. You're big. Everything works. We'll bring you in. So, but then there's some people like Almas, Sienna. Shoot, he was in NXT 2-3 years, right? Before he finally gets called. And when he gets called up, they don't do anything with him.
Nothing with him, which is why you're really scared about EC3.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing. And you have Lars as well. Is he going to just be the big guy who squashes people?
No. Right.
I don't know. I have no faith.
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know. We need, what I think also they need is more managers. They need more managers for guys that can't talk. Just get man. And it's Paul Lee. From what I understand, Paul Heyman is still there. He's still there, even though Brock is there. He's there doing stuff. Then have him manage Lars, another big guy or something. I don't know.
Can't manage everyone.
Well, he's not managing anyone right now, so I don't know what he's doing backstage. I'm sure they got some work for him, but
Yeah, and then you have Heavy Machinery, which is kind of like I would have been excited had it been a year ago.
Yeah, man, the guys are big and they have a great look, but their end ring is so questionable. Like the Worm and doing all these old bushwhacker finishes stuff. Why? Why are they doing that? I don't get that part, but
That is the comedy relief of the.
But that's the thing, the comedy relief, but their personas is to be taken serious. You know, the way their in-ring performance and everything, it's like, I'll take it serious. But then they start doing these silly things. So I don't get it.
Well, I think we know. I think we know where that team is going to end up, based on how they are performing now, and that's probably Monday Night Raw, since they need a comedy act, I guess, another comedy act on Raw.
Oh, great! They can go up against New Day every week.
See, now
if they go to SmackDown, yeah,
that's a change that I hope that Triple H really jumps into with the whole tag team division. Really make it a division, because right now it's just horrible. They have so many great tag teams. They're not doing it. The Bar, they're still not doing anything really with Gallows and stuff. I don't get it. These guys are talented, but they don't do much with them. You know, the club. So I don't know. They have a lot of tag team, and then they just created another one with Bobby Roode and the what's his name? The wrestler, the young kid.
Chad Gable. Yeah, they're tag
Gable.
champs right now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so they're still creating tag teams, but it doesn't feel legit. It just feels like ragtag guys put together because they don't know what to do with them. You know, it's like, we don't know what to do with you. Are you friends with this guy? Yeah, we travel together. Fuck, you're a tag team. Next. All right, you two guys. So, yeah, and that's the way it felt with Bo Dallas, you know, and Axel when they formed their thing. I felt that there was one of those situations like, all right, we don't know what to do with you guys. We might have to fire. Oh, wait. We could do a tag team. We could be like a spoofy one. Well, B team. We got ideas. All right, let's see what you got. You know, and it worked out. You know, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You know, there's a bunch of things I think they should change also with Bray Wyatt when he comes back, because they clearly don't know what they're doing with the Bludgeon Brothers. So stupid. What a dumb name.
Oh yeah. Well,
what a dumb name.
I think one of them is injured
again. Oh yeah, that's right. He got hurt again. Yeah. Yep. And that's it. Just I don't get why they call them the Bludgeon Brothers. It's not that much of a difference or a stretch from when they were Wyatt family. Just let them be Wyatts. That's it. A cult is a cult. You don't have to be in the same show to be part of a cult. Just like cults are spread out all across the world, they have different factions, you know, and compounds. Same thing. That would have been awesome, because whenever, let's say, Bray needed help, whoever was part of that show, that brand could come and help him out, and then just go back to their regular life. Sort of like what happened when AJ showed up. And remember, the members of the club every once in a while will come and help him. And he said, "What's going on there?" "Oh, it's just a thing, you know."
Yeah.
Just something that we had. They could have just did something like that. You don't have to kill it. You know, I know the brand was still strong. You see people wearing the merch and stuff. So I don't get it. So hopefully when he comes back, they do something with that, where now that the other one's hurt, they just bring back the Wyatt family. That made perfect sense. Just keep that together. Let that work. And then what was it? Matt Hardy's not retired, he said. He just needed time off. So he's coming back. So I'm curious to see what they do with him. He's still going to be woken.
I guess how they go. I guess it'd be curious to see how they use him. I don't know if he'll wrestle, but he'll be on TV in some capacity.
I'm assuming he's going to. They're probably going to put him in that status of, because he has a great gimmick and it works and people like him and he's super over in the crowd. So I see him as being one of those limited type wrestlers, sort of like a Brock type of situation, but a little more than that, because he could talk on the mic and he can do stuff to build up a feud. And I think that's what they'll do. They'll put him in like specialized feuds. You're not going to see him day in and day out going against Joe Schmo just for the hell of it, you know. So
that'll be wise to limit his.
Well, I think wise and a show of respect. The guy's given his entire life pretty much to wrestling and to that company.
Yeah, so, you know, and I thought they were going to do the same with Jeff, but you know, Jeff still
wants to keep going. Jeff wants to go strong. He wants to die in that ring, so he's wrestling for life. You know, I knew that the moment I saw an Impact when he took that bump from the top on the steel step, the swanton, and that was planned, and that wasn't an accident. I'm like, yo, he wants to die in the ring. He wants to That he knew that was going to be a highlight moment, and until this day, that's one of the brutal. If you look at 10, most dangerous looking moves in wrestling, that's the fact he took that bump. Oh man.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. So we covered EC3. Which brand you guys think he's going to end up on?
SmackDown.
Raw.
Really?
I think they're gonna put him on Raw. If they still go off of the idea that Raw is still the main brand, I think he's gonna be on there. I think it just makes sense to put him on that one.
Well, see, I'm thinking of with the deal, SmackDown has to be the main brand just so they can get that $1 billion.
But I think they're gonna put more known faces on that one. I think that's where the swap is. We're gonna see these NXT guys and stuff get top billing for Raw to build up their whole profile, their personas and stuff. But the known names, I think, are going to go. I think Kevin Owens and some of those guys, the ones that are household names, at least in the WWE universe, those are the ones that we'll see on SmackDown because they're bigger draws, just to get the views.
I did find it interesting how they also had a promo video saying that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are coming back. So on the same show. So that is something to look forward to because I enjoy Kevin Owens. I'm curious to see how they use him. They haven't really used him that well either as of late. So hopefully that changes for him too.
Yeah. I saw this as a good sign. Only because it's like I saw it as an awareness that they are listening. I mean, that's always a big issue. Oh, they don't listen. They don't hear the fans. They don't care about the chances stuff. Only if it works in their favor. Like this is awesome and stuff. They don't hear all the boos. They do, and you know how they do. They do because it's just like in the gaming industry and everything. Vote with your wallet. People don't go to the shows. People aren't paying for that shit. People aren't buying the merch. The viewers aren't going in. So then the advertisers started questioning how much money they're actually putting in because, like, hey, you're not getting these big views. You're getting under 1 million views. What's going on here?
Yeah.
And that hurts the bottom line. That's when they're like, wait. Because I honestly feel that when WCW fell apart and Vince bought them and did that whole thing, that he felt there's really nothing they had to worry about. They're like, hey, we're the only game in town. Sort of like how the NFL dominated. I know so many people, and I think that's the reason why he started the XFL again. So many people that just like football. And yeah, there's plenty of other football federations out there. There's arena football, there's Canadian football, there's other smaller ones. But they watch the NFL because that's the big one. That's the big stage. And I think he felt the same way. He was like, hey, we're the big show. We're the only show in town. If you're a wrestling fan, you're obviously going to watch us. So if they were averaging during the Monday Night Wars with like close to 4-point-something million views, and even when WCW was falling apart, it was still averaging 2 to 3 million views. He figured, hey, we're going to jump up to like 7 million views. All those people are just going to jump ship. And that didn't happen. A lot of those people just stopped watching. They just said, fuck it. So I think from then on, he still kept believing, nope, we're fine. This is our world. We'll make our own, division and our own rivalries in terms with the brand split stuff. It just never caught on. Till this day, they still haven't hit those big numbers that they were getting during that feud. It just never happened. It never carried over. And they know that those people are out there. That's the other thing. It's like fishing, It's like, oh, damn, I know there's a lot of fish in this pond. I just don't have the right bait. And that's the thing. I mean, I know if I was there, that's what I would be thinking. I was like, where are those other 3-something million people that were in WCW? How do we get them back? What do we need to do to get those guys back into wrestling and to absorb into our product? So hopefully this shakeup does that, because I feel a lot of people, NXT is awesome, but the only downfall of NXT, which is sort of a downfall, it's behind a paywall. It's on the network. And how many people subscribe to that network? I think it's like 2 million people or something like that. Yeah. So the big test is to put it on a main stage, or at least put some of those talents on the main stage to see. But we'll have to see with the shakeup. But because of all this, I think that it's a good sign that they're aware. They're telling us that they're aware. They know, and that's why I said I wasn't sure. A lot of people were saying, work or shoot. It's just a work, that they're just saying what they want us to hear, but it's all part of a storyline. But I don't. You know, I think it was a legit shoot on, hey, we've been screwing up. We're messing up, because I'm sure the wrestlers in the back are getting frustrated, especially the ones that
Oh
aren't
yeah.
getting used. And then the WWE needs to look at themselves like, wait, we're paying for these guys. You know, I get it. We need all the roster because of the, you know, the new TV deal, and we got all these other events, because it's a lot of product. I mean, that's the other issue that I think they have. It's oversaturated. Right? Before we only had 2 shows. Now we got NXT, we got 205, we have the NXT UK, we have all these pay-per-views, we got these special events, you know, we got tournaments, we got Mixed Max Challenge. I mean, there's so much wrestling just in the WWE world. Not even talking about Ring of Honor and all, just in their world, to the point that it's as if someone gives you a bunch of candy. It's like, oh, here, eat it all. It's like, you maybe have 2 or 3 pieces, like, yo, I can't even get started on this. That's too much. And I think that's the other problem that they have, just too much. But it's not all quality. You know, that's the thing. It's all about quantity. You know, 4-hour shows, 5-hour shows. Yeah, and it was like 2 or 3 good matches. You know, why do you have to do that? NXT is proving, and Triple H is proving, that you can put on an amazing event in just 2 hours. You don't need to extend it. You know, that's not getting your money's worth. People will feel they got their money's worth if they see quality matches. They don't need all these hours. 5-6 hours for WrestleMania. You know, so no one wants to sit there for that long. It sounds great on paper. But like, shit, I'm paying all this money. Look at all this hour. Yeah, you're sitting there. How many times do you get up to go to the bathroom at home? Oh, a few times. Good luck doing that at an arena of 100,000 people. You know, when you're sitting there for 6 hours, you've done it. You know, Rich, you know, it's trying to go to concession stands to just get like a beer or something. Like, you might as well say forget it. By the time you get there to get online and get back, the next match is starting.
Oh well, I definitely will be going through that again this upcoming in a couple of months when we go to WrestleMania. So I have to prepare for that one.
Yeah, so I'm believing in it. I'm going in. I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid on this one.
I can't.
I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid. I gotta give them the benefit of the doubt. I've been following them since as a little kid. We've all been following them. We have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like he said, what was it? What's that new slogan? I keep messing it up. Is it the before, the present, and forever? Is that what it is? Remember that's their new catchphrase.
Forever.
You know, and then that's it. And I'm hoping he's smelling, you know, he's drinking the coffee.
Oh no, I know what it
flowers,
is.
And he's realizing, hey, we have to make a change.
No,
this is going to be
no. The term you're looking for is then, now,
that's
and
it.
forever.
See, then, now, and forever. That's a new thing.
But you see, there's an asterisk that appears after that. It's then, now, and forever. It will always be the same shit. Just a different day.
You remember, they've been complaining. There have been times, even in the past, where they'd be like, "Yeah, our product isn't anything," you know.
But they've never come out like this. They never have come out and said it on a live event. It's like, hey, yeah, they've done it in story in the back, and wrestlers have done it and their little shoot promos against each other. About, yeah,
this was a shoot.
Yeah.
This was no way that it could. It has to be a shoot. They did it because, you know, they're trying desperately to get people to watch the show again because they suck. And so,
yeah, exactly. So they have to go with it. They have to produce.
It's just words. All we got was a bunch of crappy vignette trailers that looked like they were from the 80s, and that was it. That was literally that, and they fired Paige.
That was the other thing I didn't understand. That they said, all right, she's gone from it, and everyone was clapping. You know, and I was like, well, wait, you didn't even say. They were like, oh, she's still going to be around here doing what? Cleaning, you know, toilets. What do you specify her new role if she's still important? Don't just say, oh,
we
she's
already know what that is.
I don't. What is it?
We already know what that is. She needs to promote that movie that's coming out early next year.
February.
Yeah. She's going to be on a promotional tour for that movie. That's why they got rid of her. But see, the other thing that I don't like, because you mentioned SmackDown and you mentioned that, The other thing that I don't like is that they still have this whole thing they said about we're going to give you more of what you want. So I want to ask this question: do people really want to see The Miz have a tag team with Shane McMahon? Do they really want that? Because I sure as hell don't want that. So I didn't understand that whole thing with that because they still have that storyline going on.
I don't know, because I'm wondering if they scrapped the whole heel thing that they were going to do with Shane. Because remember at the Crown Jewels when he won the World Cup?
Yeah.
When he threw himself into that match in that spot to win, and he was doing the silly dance and all that stuff, and it was just like, oh, what the hell? And I thought they were going to bring that over and have him run around with this cup and act all silly, but it looks like they scrapped that.
I think it was just for like Saudi Arabia. That's what I think. Because even with the whole Hogan thing.
But they kept announcing Hulk Hogan, and they, even on their Twitter and stuff, like, oh, did you see Hulk Hogan? And and on their website, look, Hulk Hogan was here. Trying to get, they're really hyping, trying to get that feedback. Like, do you like him, or are you still upset that he's a racist? It's like just testing the waters. I don't know, man. The Hulk Hogan thing is the whole thing. It's one of those things where how many icons that we know, there's actors, there's musicians that their performance, their art form, we respect it, we love it, but behind the scenes they're a piece of shit. What do you do at that point? It's like Hulk Hogan, we love him for the character. Do we really care about Terry Bollea? I don't care about Terry. I Hulk Hogan as a character I care about. I think he's great for business, he's fun, but I could care less when Terry has his little speeches of what he's. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I just want you to rip your T-shirt and flex, and say brother a bunch of times. That's it. That's all I care about. So I think if people see it for what it is, I think it'll be okay.
We'll see.
Well, I don't know if he's coming back. Maybe on Raw. I don't know. It's just too much controversy, and we're in a different time now.
Oh yeah, we're in a very vocal time. So that's the downfall for WWE, at least. If he comes out, man, what kind of chances are going to get tossed his way? I think it depends on the part of the country, or not even in this country. If he just does UK events and overseas stuff, he'll always get a big reaction, because even if people want to hate him for what he said, they're like, wow, well, when's the next time we're ever going to get to see Hulk Hogan? If I could cheer him, that's Hulk Hogan, So, see that it's one of those, it's sometimes you don't want to, what was it? You don't want to meet your idols. It's that old saying. It's like, just enjoy them while they're on stage or on TV. Don't approach them. Don't do it. Because you may not like what you hear, or what you see. Just don't do it. Just appreciate for what they're offering as their performance art, and take it from there.
No, there definitely is some truth to this.
Yeah,
we know that. But so pretty much to continue the last bit of the NXT call ups. So we got one vote for EC3 to go to SmackDown, another one to go to Raw. What about Lacey Evans? What do you see her going?
There's no point. She's a pretty face. I don't see it.
Okay.
Her promos, nothing to write home about. In ring, I think she's just a pretty face. That's it. And they like to fill up the roster with pretty girls. So I'm like, all right.
So Monday Night Raw then.
Whichever. It doesn't even matter. It's wherever they feel like it. Because remember, if we're talking about that, they got rid of the whole brand split. She could be Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Doesn't matter anymore.
That's true.
They could. That's it. It just doesn't matter anymore. Because it's been a while, but that's the way it was before. People just showed up. They schedule a match, and then next week they go and pop up on the other one and do an impromptu match or something.
According to the deal, they're not allowed to cross over. They're not allowed to acknowledge each other.
But that was under the brand split. There's no longer a brand split.
Yeah, but the Raw cannot mention SmackDown because that's a whole different network.
I think when you bring the supposed owner and boss, like when Shane came out, you're basically breaking that wall. and be like, yeah, we're done. We're working, because they kept saying everything. We're working together for the fans, the universe, the brand of WWE, which
Still up
basically,
19.
what you know who was missing? I was thinking about it. William Regal should have been out there too, but they probably say, you know what, your shit's okay. Your role is okay. Everything is working out in NXT in its own world, so let's not bring that up because so. And they didn't even mention NXT when they talked about all the stuff they were doing.
Mm-mm.
You know, so.
No, it's a weird show. It's a
It is
weird.
everything about it is weird. They very rarely even advertise the NXT UK. But then I was
Oh
telling a
yeah.
buddy of mine that got me super pissed a while ago that they were, what's his name? Xavier Woods comes out, and he has an Up Down podcast, YouTube channel, talking about games. But here it is, they're doing a whole big promotion of League of Legends. I'm like, why don't you help promote your own crappy game that just came out? Why are you promoting another game? Do a tournament for your game.
Which game?
WWE 2K19.
Oh, hell no! To hell with that game.
Exactly. Well, that's what they're saying to the fans too. To forget about our game here, play this other game. They paid us a lot more money. Just play that game. And the fact that they showed that pissed me off because but this is what they do. I mean, think about it. They have a network, a pay sub network, and then they still have Raw and SmackDown on Hulu, another service. It's it baffles me, some of these deals that they have. But it's wherever they can get the money, and I guess they're like, hey, we'll just make more money there. And I'm sure that if that contract ends with Hulu and they start moving those reruns over to the network, maybe I really do believe the network will get more ratings and more subscribers, because then people will say, wow, well, if I don't watch this, or maybe I don't have cable, at least on the network, I can watch Raw and SmackDown. Right now you can't do that. Now you got to go in and go to Hulu and pay them money. So if you want the full WWE experience, you need the network, you need Hulu, you need cable, to watch on the USA Network, and then of course bunny ears in your TV when SmackDown comes to your regular, Fox channel. So it's all spread out. If it's a network, you have everything under just the network. So
License is too much money.
that's it. It's a lot. It's a lot of money. The whole
Yeah.
thing's just adding up. And I wonder about the tier system. I don't know anybody out there that received it, but I know I received it, where a while ago they sent that notification, hey, take this survey. And it was like, oh, what would you like on a different tier system? Would you like more matches, reality shows? And it's like, and it was like one of those questionnaires.
Nothing.
So I wonder if that's still something they want to go forward with, coming up with tier structures in 2019.
If they can't get, people to buy what they have now, you think they can convince them for a tier system?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's been a slow growth for that network. That's the other thing. I'm sure they were hoping that they could average like additional million views a year, and it's not happening. Because I remember before they said it was at like 2 point something million. It's been around for what, 4 years? Isn't it? 3, 4 years? Maybe 5 years? I feel it's been around for a while. So it's not picking up like that, but they definitely have a lot of content. Can't complain about the content on that network.
They do.
Definitely a lot. Definitely a lot. And it's almost sort of like what the regular product is, just oversaturated. I don't even know where to look for stuff, so I just go from what I know. They have to come up with a better way to search these things, or break it down, or like have like a superstar section, and then you could just see a rundown of all the wrestlers, click on it, and see all their matches. Right now, you have to actually just type in their name. You have to search. And it's all mumble jumbled with clips and highlights. It's like, no, I want to just see the matches. I mean, they have it cleaned up for pay-per-views and stuff. That's good. So sometimes randomly I'll just select Survivor Series, and then just like close my eyes and just scroll through the years and just press the button just to see it. It's always funny. See some of those old pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
But I don't know. We'll see how it grows. But one of the other things, it's all, what do we think when it comes to outside wrestlers? Who's going to show up? 2019, new faces. It's not going to be all NXT people. And I know there's some big names out there that would like to come, but they don't want to do the NXT. They want the big paydays. Just like AJ, I want the big paydays. You pay me big money, you put me on the main stage. Don't want to go to NXT. Who do you think those names are?
Well, we all know the Elite is running around with no ties to organization.
The trick, man, I feel like they're trolling people. I feel like the Young Bucks are trolling people. They have their show. They did the Elite. They did a little spoof thing talking about that they're not going to WWE type of thing, and there's no tag team division there or something like to that effect. I saw it once and then I brushed it off because I don't know. I don't find them funny. I don't find it entertaining at all. They're great in ring performers, but it's just something about their characters. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. I'd rather just see their in ring work. But I could see them still going. I could see them saying, "Hey, we'll sign this big money deal. They'll go to SmackDown. They'll definitely get a lot of eyes on them. And if there's no more brand split, there's a bunch of match types that they can do, and they can be the new Dudleys." Remember when the Dudleys came in? They were the top dogs for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Young Bucks could easily do that. And it's not about selling out or anything. It's about money. It's all about, like, $1 Million Man said, everybody has a price. It's just how much is that price, and are WWE willing to pay it?
See, I don't.
You don't see it?
No, I don't see it because the same thing could have been said about Joe, and look at him now. Look at does he even still exist? Look at Shinsuke.
Oh, Shinsuke.
Well, there's one thing we don't see on these guys. You know what we don't see? We don't see their bank accounts. And I know those bank accounts are growing. They're making dough because they signed contracts, they're selling merch, and they're still being put up there. They're putting in big matches that we want to see. Are they getting titles and doing their great work up on the top level like that, like Joe? No. But they're making money. They're making money. They're getting paid. It's big checks. Where else could they get those type of checks? That's the question. They're not getting it from Ring of Honor, which is contract based, very small contract. Some of them don't even have contracts. New Japan, that's the whole big issue that a lot of people are having right now. It's under new management. A lot of people don't like the new management, so they're talking about leaving. So where do you go if you want big checks? And a lot of these guys, Young Bucks, they're not young. They're getting older. So I mean, if you want to make money, a lot of money, they have families. It's a no-brainer. You do the WWE thing, but they're in a place where they can do it on their terms if they go that route. Without a doubt, I'm sure they can say, "Hey, we want creative control of this. We want to do this. We want to have say this and that." And I'm sure, especially because of the Fox deal, and WWE wanting to fill it up with known talent and quality talent, they're in that spot where they can say, "Shit, you know what? Maybe we should do it. Let's just do it. Let's give them some big money. Let's give them some control." But I don't know. They're not. For those who don't know, they're gone. They're no longer with Ring of Honor. If you look that up, they did a video where they said goodbye to their fans and they were hugging and everything in the ring. So that's done.
New Japan?
New Japan is done. I think they're done with that, or it's about to be done. But there was talks that that's finishing up. So what happens? And everyone's like, "Oh, well, Cody doesn't want to." He openly said he doesn't want to do a promotion. He'll do those pay-per-views that he did the last one, but he doesn't want to do a promotion. And wrestlers can't just live off of that. They can't just live off on a one-off that may happen every 4 whatever months. They have no plans for no date set for the next one. The All In, Lucha Underground. I'd be surprised if they come back for a season 5. This last season was horrible. But it's not their fault. A lot of their talent are being poached. A lot of them got poached. Look at Ricochet. He's gone. Pentagon Jr. They're barely holding on to him. But he just signed with MLW a multi-year deal. So him and his brother Phoenix. John Morrison has no plans of ever going back to WWE. He hates them. They hurt him. They screwed him over. And especially now that Batista's coming back in the picture, he definitely don't want to go back there. Over that whole scandal. So
We don't want him.
yeah, but what I found really shocking is one of my favorite wrestlers over in Lucha Underground, the Monster Matanza, Jeff Cobb. Awesome wrestler. Big man, does flips, does all this stuff, super powerful. Love that character. He was on a show. I forgot what podcast he was on. He was talking. They didn't sign him. They let him go. I thought he left to Ring of Honor. He said no. They just let him go. And he said he would be really upset because his character is under a mask. If they have somebody else continue as a Monster Matanza. And I mean, from what I've heard, he's a good guy to work with. People like him. So it's not like he's a difficult character or person of like, shit, we'll just have to put somebody else. Sort of like what they did, what WWE did with Doink. It was like the first guy did Doink was a pain in the ass and had issues. And fuck it, we'll just put Doink on. We'll put other people under the Doink mask. No, and it's sad because he's such a great talent. He's with Ring of Honor now, but man, whatever. But what's his name is there? Showed up. Bad News Barrett is at Lucha Underground. So it's good to see that he's getting back into the whole wrestling thing. I don't know if he's going to be in ring. I know he did some work in England where he was doing some in ring, but I don't know if it's just a persona or if he's actually going to wrestle. And what's his name is over there. He popped up this season with We the People. What's his name? Jack Swagger.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah, they call him Strong. I think it's Jack Strong or something. They call him something Strong. But they're giving him a big push. But yeah, it was horrible. This season was pretty bad. And I love Lucha, especially Lucha Underground. I love it and love watching it. But man, this just didn't do it for me. And I know that it sort of fell off. It was about rating wise. So, but on the upside, the El Rey Network got picked up syndication on more networks, more cable providers. So that's a plus, and it's also funded by the El Rey Network. So unless the network says they don't want them, that's it. That's it. Oh, speaking of networks, Impact Wrestling also switched networks. They're no longer on Pop TV.
Yeah. They're on a station I never heard of before.
Well, most people haven't, unless you have satellite. I don't have satellite, but from what I'm hearing, it's only on satellite and maybe a handful of cable providers. It's nowhere near the amount of providers that Pop Network was on, because that used to be the TV Guide channel. So every network had it. Because remember, back in the day, before guides were part of your cable box, you went to the TV Guide channel, or if you actually had a TV Guide that you bought in the store, and then you just watched and waited for to see the rundown of the shows and the networks and stuff.
It's Pursuit. It's the Pursuit Network.
Pursuit.
The Pursuit.
But supposedly what they said, the reason why that deal went through fairly quickly is because Anthem, which is pretty much the owners now of Impact, have a stake in that network also. They also do the Fight Network. So that's part of the deal that they have. So it's sort of like bringing Impact more in-house on that. So
will it be in anyone's house if no one has the Pursuit channel?
I don't know. And that's the other thing. Lucha Underground, a lot of their talent went over there. Now works over in Impact. You got Cage over there, and of course John Morrison over there, and a few other guys pop up over there. So Sammy Callahan.
It's just a weird network itself. It's like all about fishing and hunting and wildlife and manly things.
There you go. Nothing more manly than man-on-man action wrestling. That's the thing. Wrestling it's one of those, and that's always been the issue when it comes to advertisers. We've always heard about it, and even with channels. Like, think about it. WWE had a show on the Sci-Fi Channel. What is that? What does wrestling and science fiction have anything to do with you? It doesn't matter.
They was for ECW, and it was supposed to be science fiction.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying. It's like they don't know. They just wrestling it's part of the carnival scene. It's one of those things that detects, and it's an anomaly. It's its own thing. Is it acting? Is it sports? Is it real? Is it not? It's everything. It's got a little bit of everything. So it's
It
special. It's definitely special.
it's well, the Pursuit channel for those who have Direct TV and FiOS, you can watch it, and Dish, you can watch it.
You see, there you go.
There you go. And something called Cloud, what is KLOWDT?
And,
Cloud.
but I think they're still on the Fight Network. I think, or they have their app. Remember they were selling that for a while. So,
Okay.
but there's a catch with all of this. There's a big catch because I know I would watch like read the reports of ratings, and they would say, "Oh, Impact did some high ratings. The numbers keep going up." But when they break down what they showed on those episodes that had the high ratings, it was like AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, and all those big names and Kurt Angle, going against the big names. Like, what the hell? They still have rights because that's their catalog and that's what WWE was trying to buy from them. But since they own the rights to that, they could still air it. So they weren't airing new matches. They were airing old classic matches, and that people tune in to see those things. They're like, oh, yeah, remember that? That was a good match. X Division title match. What, Jerry Lynn was in that too? Oh, wow. So they're still making money off of talent that's no longer there and re-airing these matches, and that brings in numbers. Whenever they would show Hulk Hogan and stuff, people would tune in. So it's tricky on how they're doing it because it's not so much of the current product that's bringing viewership. It's the older back catalog that was bringing the viewers. But hey, it worked. They're still relevant, right? I could have swore this promotion was going to be dead and gone at least a year or two ago. I mean, almost all the talent left when EC3 left, and everybody else walked. Joe. I was like, this is it. They're done. The Dudleys left again. Remember the Hardys left. It was just like a mass exodus. A few of the female wrestlers also left. Now over in NXT.
Dixie Carter left.
Yeah, hell, even Dixie Carter left and showed up on the network, on WWE Network. I was like, man, what is the world coming to?
She's still working her EC3 angle though, because she was like, "Oh, congratulations to my nephew."
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying, and the fact that he's still running with it, So it's like, and they don't ever bring it up. They don't ever ask. It's like, hey, what does EC3 stand for? It's just this thing.
Anyway, they definitely could address that if they want to.
Yeah, they could, or they could let it die off, sort of like CM Punk. What's the CM?
And he CM Punk chance. I don't know how much.
Yeah, but he even says it, but a lot of people don't know. It's Chick Magnet. It was just Chick Magnet. That's what it stands for. Chick Magnet Punk. Yeah, and he said it numerous times. And people will come up with their own reasons. Oh, it means this. I mean that. Oh, he says it all the time. It just means Chick Magnet. WWE never said it because they never bothered, and he was there for years. They just called him CM Punk.
Well, the punk part is right because
yeah.
He definitely was a hard person to work with. So yeah, I think that part of the name was accurate.
Shots fired.
Talk about people you don't want to meet. Don't meet your idols. Don't meet Punk. Don't approach Punk. Especially at an event. So shoot, man, I remember hearing Greg Miller. Everybody knows Greg Miller and gaming, kind of funny and all that. Huge wrestling fan. He's friends with Xavier Woods stuff. Huge CM Punk fan. Worked with CM Punk when he worked at IGN doing WWE promotion event stuff. And a few years ago, he said he was talking about. He's like, when he was telling Xavier Woods, talking about like, oh yeah, wrestlers stuff, and he said he's like he had a good friendship with it. Well, he thought he had a good rapport with CM Punk until it was at a live event. I think it was like an E3 or one of those type of things, and it was still closed off from the public. It was just the people in the industry walking the floor. So Punk was just walking around on the floor. So Greg was like, "Oh, I know him. We've talked, we've done all this stuff together." So he went up and he tapped him on his shoulder, and Punk turned around and was like, "What the hell?" I was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And he said Punk just cursed him out. And just like went off on him, like, "How dare you come on? Who do you think you are?" And he, whoa, but we know each other. Like, I know you. Like, and he just like brushed him off like he was like some super fan douche and just kept walking. It's like, and he's like, yeah, I don't. He's like, I don't know. Maybe he had a bad day, but I felt very disrespected, and there goes that. That's my experience with him. I'm not gonna trash talk him, but that was it. And so when you hear that, it just shows that he really is a dick. It's not so much of like the wrestlers saying it. I mean, he's like that with everybody. So is he a nice guy? I mean, look what he just did with Cole Cabana. You know, you got to take Colt's side on this. It's proving, hell, he's willing to backstab his own friend. He put his friend in a horrible situation, meaning Cole, got him into his lawsuit. Said he's the one making the millions of bucks, not Cole. Fucking pay his legal fees. Oh no, you're not gonna pay now? Pfft, fucking douche. Come on now.
And possibly lied about the situation. Don't forget about that.
Oh yeah. The whole thing didn't even make sense. When he openly on stage when you're in court, starts saying, "Well, I don't know if he said it. Somebody there said it." You can't even really pinpoint the doctor. If it wasn't for the doctor just asking for a ridiculous amount of money, I think that guy would have won. The whole thing could have just got dismissed out in a different way, but whatever. That's over with. See, something else in 2018 in the books.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. One thing I don't see happening, back to the WWE, I don't see Kenny Omega coming. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening only because New Japan really like him. I mean, he speaks the language. He's fluent and he's way over. He's making money hand over fist, and he loves the culture. He loves living out there and doing that whole thing. So
never. So how come the elite can take a paycheck, but he can't take a paycheck?
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. So WWE can't offer. He's going to say no if they offer him ridiculous money.
The difference is he went that route. He went to WWE, remember, and he left. It was like 2009.
Yeah, but
and
he was
exactly. But I don't see, unless I think it would be one of those things that he would only go. I think if like the Young Bucks or some other group he was really close. He's close with Jericho now, but look at Jericho. Jericho's doing more stuff outside of WWE than in WWE.
He's on a cruise.
And it all comes down to, we all say it, and wrestlers all say it. It's a WrestleMania moment. Every wrestler wants a WrestleMania moment. Wrestlers that always said, "I look at Sting." People that are like, "I'm never going to WWE. I'll never do it." They eventually show up. They want that WrestleMania moment. The Young Bucks, I believe, are no different. I'm sure Kenny Omega, somewhere in his mind, is thinking about it, but he's riding high right now. There's no reason for him to go unless New Japan cut him and he's out of it. Then yeah, I could see that. But I also think that one of the stipulations, if the Young Bucks or any of those members of that group decide to go to WWE, they probably still want to work with Cody. Cody doesn't want to go back. He doesn't want to, and it's not that he hates the company or anything. He just doesn't want that schedule. That's another thing. He's like he's happy with the way his life is. He's working to movies, TV shows. He's got a lot of freedom. He has creative control and of what he's doing. Why give that up? But the difference for all of this is big. But he's made that WWE money. He made it for over a decade. The other guys haven't made that WWE money. So it's a big difference. You know what I mean? It's like when you talk about going to a big company. Let's say Google or something. It was like, oh, it's horrible. I'm leaving. I left that place. Yeah. Well, how long were you there? Oh, I was there for a long time. I made a lot of money. Well, I wasn't there. I didn't make that money. Let me go there and make that money, and then I'll be bitter like you and leave. But I'll leave with a bunch of money. You know what I mean? So, and then of course the whole thing is like your experience may not be my experience. Things could be different. So either way, I see some of those guys coming over. I see some people coming. Not Kenny Omega, but the Young Bucks and Hangman Page. I could see him. I could see Marty Scurll. I'm always pronouncing his last name wrong, but I could see him going there. He definitely has a character. If he could bring that over, I don't know if he owns it. I think he does. The whole thing with the umbrella and all of that, I think that'd be great. But not at 205. Squash that shit. Have it just linked in SmackDown, but not its own show, because the depth is not there for that roster to have its own show. It sounded great on paper. Remember when we first saw it, we're like, oh wow, this is gonna be fun. And then it was like the same 10 guys for like 2 years. It's like, all right, now you got a problem. They brought in Buddy Murphy and stuff, and they have some great matches. All of them have great matches, but it doesn't gel well. It doesn't feel right. It feels like an afterthought. Like, all right, we're just gonna put all these lightweight guys, do some flip flops, and we'll give you a belt. And then I know for a while they were talks we're gonna do a tag belt. Maybe they'll do that in 2019. Because I know they wanted to add additional belts to all the other divisions. Remember, NXT got the North American title, so they have 2 belts there. Then there was talks of the women having a tag team belt. They can definitely do that now. If they got rid of the SmackDown and Raw brand split, you got all those females in it. Yeah, definitely they could have a tag team. And then have them pop up on Raw and SmackDown. So they could definitely do that. I still think they should fix the Universal Champion, that the Universal Champion should defend that belt on any show. He's the Universe Champ. He's not the Raw Champ. If anything, have a Raw title then. But if someone has a Universal, he is the King of Kings. And that's why I think if they gave it to Brock, well, look, Brock has it now, then they should have a Raw belt. And that guy, the Raw belt champ or the SmackDown champ, could compete against Brock. Like the boss, ultimate boss battle type of thing. Play a game, you beat the boss. Oh no, you didn't beat the real boss. Diablo's coming now. Oh, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's a Universal title. It says it in the name. It doesn't say Raw. It doesn't say SmackDown.
That would be nice in theory, but I don't see that happening.
Oh, and it's also red, so that's the other reason why it's on Raw.
You can spray paint that in the back. That's that's an easy fix. And you know what? For fun, if they want to have something for fun, bring back the hardcore title. Doesn't have to look crappy, but bring that whole idea back. That was fun for a long time. It got ridiculous after a while. I think even what was it? It was one of the hosts for The Godfather won the title.
The Ladies of the Night. You can't say that.
The Ladies of the Night. Well, the Streetwalker. They put her on top of some. I think she pinned Crash or someone she pinned, and she won the title. I mean, they didn't care after all, but the idea that it was a belt that had to be defended, every night, anywhere, or at least it had to be defended. I have something like that.
That should go on the network. They should have a show on the network, make it like a 24/7 stream thing. Doesn't have, where they just have random wrestlers just go in and fight for the belt, like they did Southpaw. If they can do Southpaw, then they should do something with the hardcore and make that like a show.
Yeah, they can do something with it. I think that's one of the fun ones they should bring back. Just to spruce things up. I mean, 2019, a new network. I'm sure a lot of ideas are going to be rehashed because they're going to see it as it is a new audience, and they're going back to regular TV, over-the-air TV, the network. So let's see what happens. But we definitely know they need big names, and we've heard the rumors, and wrestlers have confirmed. A lot of Japanese wrestlers have confirmed that they've been in talks, that WWE has reached out for their services. So that's why I don't put into people like, oh well, the Young Bucks had that whole issue when they got that guy fired. Remember when he showed up at an event? They're not gonna. Man, that sucked. But that was about money and rights and other things with the Too Sweet. Remember with the finger? Mm-hmm. They could say, hey, we'll fix that. That's water on the bridge. That was just business talk. You want to make big money? Do you want to be rich? Do you want to swim in buckets of money like Scrooge McDuck? Do you want to do that? I don't know. I think that the Young Bucks should show up just to get the WrestleMania moment and to redo the tag team division. Because that's the other thing that they're great at. People don't understand that. They're not selfish. It's not all about them. They're great at putting out big matches. It's like the Dudleys. The Dudleys knew how to put on good matches, and they knew how to pick out the tag teams we're feuding with. They knew, of course, the Hardys were going to be awesome to work with. They knew Edge and Christian were going to be awesome to work with, and so they planned these things out. And with that, that's what the Young Bucks bring. Legion of Doom and stuff, those type of tech, they didn't know. They just went in there and like, well, we're just getting over. We're just going to beat them up. Look at us. We're big. And they didn't build on anything. Teams like the Dudleys and the Young Bucks, those are special. Those are ones that you want to keep around. Those are ones you want to bring in your promotion because, like, all right, they're going to make this division better. Not just for themselves, but for everyone else. Because they know that's what's best for business is that all the teams work because you want to see great matchups. You don't want to see great squash matches. And that's one thing WWE has. They have great tag teams. They have a bunch of them. Sanity's up there now. Authors of Pain. are up there. There are a lot of great tag teams. I'm not fans of the Usos, but they're there. People seem to like them. New Day should have broken up 4 years ago, but they're still there. So,
Yeah, they just need to overhaul the whole thing.
oh man, I don't know why I still get offended when I see them with the pancakes. Somehow I find that offensive. There's something about it that rubs me the wrong way of them running around with pancakes, giving them out. I just don't like it.
What happened to the bootios? Why pancakes? Are we moving to different things?
I don't know. Bootios cost too much money to make the cereal.
Because
who
the pancakes are closer to Aunt Jemima. So
You see, there you go. Maybe that's it. I don't like that. There you go. That's it. Could be that, but
terrible.
yeah. So I mean, some of the other names. There's one tag team. If we're talking about fixing a tag team in 2019, it'll never happen. But it would be great to see. Man. Oh shoot, how am I forgetting his name? The from Ring of Honor, the brothers. Briscoes. The Briscoes. Oh, I would love to see the Briscoes.
I feel like that's the team that they have been trying to get.
Oh yeah,
they have.
They have. But the thing is with that team is they're very loyal to Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor pay them a good amount. And then I remember hearing something. I don't know if it was at work or whatever, but their father has a lot to say, and their father wanted them to stay there in Ring of Honor. And they are chicken farmers, and suppose they still have a chicken farm. And so they need a certain amount of time off to go work that property. I don't know if that was all the work with the whole thing, but I saw multiple reports with the same thing saying, oh yeah, they did an interview. That's every time they talk about renegotiating their contracts, it's like a certain amount of time needs to be off to help their father with the land and with the farming. So it was weird, but that was one of them because they're a great tag team and they're great at solo performance also, and that's a plus. Because some tag teams, you split those guys up and they're horrible. They need each other. I actually feel like that was a little downfall for the Dudleys. Bubba was great by himself when he did Bully Ray, when he just actually had a whole different persona. But when Devon tried it, remember when he was trying to do the minister, testify? Oh my Lord. It was so bad.
Pray for better storylines.
Yeah. The gospel choir?
Oh, yeah. That was horrible. That was horrible. I mean, it was their idea to fix it up. And when the writers were like, shoot, we have nothing else for you. That's all we had. That horrible idea is what we had. Well, we'll figure something out. And they let them do it and it worked out. But yeah, I think the Briscoes would be awesome. That'd be awesome to have there. I don't think it'll ever happen though. But hey, 2019, anything's possible. Jay Lethal would be another fun one, but he's another ROH loyal, and they pay him a big amount of money to stay also. So I always say it comes down to money. These guys are all free agents. They're all basically contractor workers, so they are free agents. They're not lifers. They could leave at any point, and once their contract's up, and go somewhere else. So make that money. And as much as some people will hate it because they watch other brands, WWE, that's where the money is for these wrestlers. Remember, it was a year and a half ago it was that video that went viral on YouTube where it was Kevin Owens versus what's his name from look at that, Roman Reigns, and he was like in a headlock. He had Roman Reigns in a headlock, and some fan was heckling Owens is something, calling him fat or something like that. And he says, hey, I just made $33,000 last year in just t-shirt sales. What did you make? He said something like that. And yeah, you could see in the video Roman like in his headlights cracking up, laughing, hearing this. But it's true. It's like, shit, that's a good chunk of change just from merchandise. That's not his pay. That's bonus money right there. So You know, a lot of these indie guys, they're not even making big money. People think, oh, they make it. No, they rely on that merch. The check isn't there. The merch is what they need. You know, WWE guarantees money. We got these guys, a lot of them making 700, 800, what was it, $900,000 for Dolph Ziggler, stuff like that. You know,
Whoa.
big money. I mean, he's a great worker. He's been there for years, so they're paying him that, and he's. I mean, think about it. He's very rarely out injured.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, that's the thing. I mean, you gotta respect that much. I'm like, shit, we got it. He's a worker. He comes in, he does these shows, he takes bumps like nobody's business. I mean, he looks like he's getting hurt every time. He has that he takes bumps like Jeff Hardy takes bumps, but Jeff actually gets hurt. You know, but he's doing it, and he keeps coming back. So he's worth the money, and they've been trying to push him for a while now. You know, putting him up on the main stage. They never went back to the whole gimmick of when he put the belt down and left. They never went back to that. Remember that when he put the belt down and quit?
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah, and then he came back for the Rumble, and then he just got tossed out. None of it made sense. It was like, all right, we got an idea. We're gonna make you the champ. What happens after that? Don't know. You just give us the belt back. Okay. And that's it. You know, but I don't know. I have high hopes, and I hope that everything works out. I hope that everything that Vince and Triple H and Stephanie and Shane said on Raw Live was a legit shoot, and that they went backstage and creative. They sat down in a room and says, "All right, all the stuff that Vince had rejected, can you show us now?" Yes, we'll show you. Okay, and then we'll pick and choose. And then they all agree on that because I'm sure we always hear it. You know, when these writers eventually they leave, they swap, and they go to other promotions, and they always talk about, oh, yeah, we knew this storyline sucked. This was the original plan, but Vince shot it down, or we did this and that. Vince didn't think he was worth the talent, so he didn't give him that spot. He didn't push this for us. We wanted to push him, you know, but Vince this, Vince that. Well, we'll see. You know,
I'm sorry.
because
No, it's all
no.
work. This will never happen.
Oh, you just said a little while ago it was a shoe, and now you're saying it's all worked.
No, I said it's all words.
Oh, it's all words. Okay.
It's words. It's not. You're getting your hopes up.
I have to. I have to believe. I have to believe.
I just want to say I definitely have to agree with Dana on this one because anyone that thought it was a good idea to give Alicia Fox and Dana Brooke an opportunity in that gauntlet match, they have to be smoking some really strong.
No. You see that's it. These they're still there. They've been there a long time, and I'm sure they've been working hard to build up that in-ring performance. So this was their way to shine. It's not a full match. It's just gets them out there. Come on now. Let's just think about it. I mean, they come from outside of the wrestling world. She was Dana Brooks is a bodybuilder. She's always into fitness. She's always doing that. She lost her boyfriend. Remember, he choked and died like a year or two ago, whatever. She still stayed with the company. She still had to work. They put her in that horrible gimmick thing where she was like following around the worldwide. Remember, she was doing that whole thing, Titus Worldwide. I mean, she was playing along. She's working with the company, so it's like, all right, let's put her in the ring. She's working hard on it. Let's give her some time to shine. And I think that's what I got from that. You know, and it's something new.
The company for like 20 years. Have you ever seen, oh my gosh, that was such great in-ring performance by Alicia?
No, but maybe it'll happen. Maybe something will click. I mean, they kept around this long. You know, she was a Funkadactyl, you know, so she's still there. And Naomi's still there. Look at that. Naomi
can wrestle and have an
I know, but she was in the same boat, though. You know, she was in the same boat. She was just a dancer, and then she turned into a good wrestler.
And has personality. And they've given
there you go. And the other one has it, too. She's crazy, remember? She does a great crazy girl.
She screams and yells and wears bad weaves. Literally, that's it.
Yeah, she does wear some crazy weaves.
Crazy weaves. It's all she does. I don't know. If they really want to do some changes, they need to cut some wrestlers
Yeah, I agree with that.
And they need to bring Carlito back. I want Carlito. I don't. I want Carlito. Come on now. He was fun. He was funny, man. They gotta bring him back.
His brothers are still there.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
now.
That's the other thing. Brothers still Primo's still there. Come on now.
Hated that gimmick. He cannot come back with that same horrible gimmick.
Whatever gimmick he's using in Puerto Rico, just bring him with his big crazy hair, his sideshow bob hair, and that's it. I mean, I was so happy to see him on Glow. You know, I'm watching Glow and I see Carlito. I'm like, yay! Because think about it, you don't see him on any other promotion. I don't see him on Impact. I don't see him Ring of Honor. I don't see him on MLW. I don't see him in any of that stuff. But I know he's wrestling in his dad's promotion over in Puerto Rico. So
Yeah, I don't know. Just get rid of a whole bunch of wrestlers because they have like almost 200 on the roster as it is.
Yeah, and everybody doesn't get the time that they, the time to shine. So,
and that's it.
I don't know. They just have to like fix up their branding. We talked 205 is a mess. They got to fix that up.
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown. They got to figure out what they're gonna do with SmackDown.
One thing I want to say about SmackDown, I just don't want. If you're talking about the 2019 goals, I do not want to see the McMahons have any hands-on stuff with SmackDown, because when I saw SmackDown this past week and the fact they had that segment with Vince interrupting Charlotte and Becky, I was like, this is absolutely horrible. I do not want to see them having a focal point on that show, because the SmackDown was always better than Raw when they started doing SmackDown Live. Even when SmackDown wasn't as good, it was still better because it was the show was only 2 hours and there was just more character focused on some of the people on there. So I don't want the McMahons to be trying to take up too much time on them when it should be about the wrestlers on the actual show.
Yeah. Well, that's another issue. That's why I feel like with the Triple H involvement, he always focused more on wrestling. We can see with NXT, so hopefully we see a lot more of that. Yeah, and especially since he knows a lot of this talent that's been called up, because that was a downfall. These talents get called up, but then it's still up to Vince to have the final say on what they do on the two big brands. Doesn't matter. So it's like, here it is. Triple H spends all this time building up certain characters. You bring them up, and then they get buried. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Well, and then you find out online, the writers are like, well, I wrote stuff for the so and so, and Vince just didn't want to do it. So then why even call these guys up then? For what? Why do it? The whole thing with Sanity really pissed me off. Sanity was red hot. All of them. Remember, they were red hot, and they come up, nothing happens. Nothing. They did like one run-in, and they disappeared for months. I think they did some house shows and stuff. They never came back on TV. And it's like they were bringing people up, but then not telling their creative team. It's like, all right, we're bringing up these people. Oh, we don't know how to squeeze them in. Oh, well. And next, the guy's just sitting in the back. We saw that with Authors of Pain. They debuted on Raw, and then they disappeared for a while. Next, they decided they didn't need a manager. Remember, they got rid of the manager when they debuted, Paul Ellering. But then eventually they realized, well, they need somebody. So then they give that's the other thing. The Rockstar Spud, general manager of 205, but then he shows up on Raw as a manager, for a tag team.
Yep.
But then he still goes back. You're playing two different roles. That doesn't make sense. And the same thing with Leo Rush. Great in-ring performer on 205, but he's a mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. And he comes out and doesn't acknowledge the fact that he's a wrestler. It's like, you're still the same person. Put on a mustache or a wig or something. Fool me. Trick me. I know you're Leo Rush. The announcers are saying you're Leo Rush. I'm going to see you tomorrow night wrestling on 205. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a mess. It's a mess. It doesn't make sense. They need to fix. They need to do a lot of fixing. Everybody down the row, I hope. And I mean, the hard thing is the time. It's a 24/7 operation. They don't have an off season. But they really do need an off season to reboot. Maybe during this holiday window, which is they really don't get a break either. So it is going to be taped, though, right? I think Raw and SmackDown were already taped.
Raw and SmackDown were already taped. Actually,
but
something major happened on SmackDown.
Yep. We won't spoil that, but yeah, it's all right. But the thing is that again, it's a holiday break, so even creative are home with their family. They need to just sit down and look at each wrestler and be like, "Hey, does this person need any fixing? Do they need this? Do they need that? What were they doing before? This a reboot, just a reboot. So like what they would do every once in a while with their favorites. Kane was their favorite. Corporate Kane. All of a sudden, Stephanie says, "I want the other Kane back." Next, he comes back with the mask on, just like that. Remember that? It was just as if like the fact that you were talking and all that stuff doesn't matter. Now you have long hair. And you have your mask. They do it with their favorites. Do that with others. Like, what were you doing before? What were you doing before? I was doing it. That got over, right? Yeah, bring it back. Just bring it back. I believe when Fandango comes back, he's going to be doing the dancing and doing the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll definitely be doing that.
Just the fact they have Tyler Breeze coming out again, doing his whole thing with the selfie stick and all that stuff. It's like, all right. Try again. Try to make it work. This time, just don't bury him. That's it. Let him actually win a match. Let him win a match. Let Samoa Joe become a champ for a little while. Have a real heel champion. Yeah, you had it with Shinsuke, who can't really speak English, and you always bitch about, we need our wrestlers to shoot great promos and stuff. Well, you got Joe just standing there watching this shit.
There you go. I'm sorry, he's another wasted talent.
Yeah, but sure on his end, and he's looking at the bank account and his kid having an amazing Christmas. He's like, yeah, it's not that much of a waste. So that's what I'm saying. I can understand if they're not getting paid and they're not getting TV time and they're sitting in the back. Joe's situation is different because he is in the main roster. He's on the main stage. He's just not getting the title shot and he's not getting that big push, but he's relevant. He's there. There's a lot of guys that no one would know that they still work there unless they do a 10 count bell for somebody who passed. And then that's when you really see, like, yo, that guy still works there?
Well, he used to work there.
Yeah. Well, like Rhino, that's the big thing. Everybody wants to know, did he really retire? No. Is he gone? Or is this all part of the story? Just taking a break? What's going on? Did Heath Slater really become a referee? That's happened. Danny Davis. Some people just go into becoming refs. I don't know.
We'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think 2019 will be better than 2018. Just to quote Matt Hardy, because they're woken. They're woken, and they have new people to please, which is Fox. And so they're going to throw everything at the wall to see what sticks. And if it requires them spending big money to get big name indie talents and stuff, they're going to do it. They're definitely going to do it. Well, here's the thing. No one talks about this, and I haven't seen anyone really talk about Punishment Martinez over in NXT.
Yeah.
And he's Punishment Martinez. And I'm wondering, I didn't even do any research on it. Is that his real name? Did he legally change his name Punishment?
I'm not sure.
I want to look that because some people do that. I mean, Warrior did it. And I'm wondering because they let him come in with Punishment Martinez. And I'm like, that's a whack-ass name, unless it's your real name.
No, it's not his real name.
What is it then? I mean, I'm looking it up. I'm using the Googles.
Oreo.
Did you say Oreo?
Mario.
Like Oreo. Yeah, stick with Punishment then. Shit, Oreo.
It's not his real name. His ring name is Punishment Martinez.
I know, but that's the thing is that they let him come in with that.
Luis Martinez.
Yeah. Luis, yeah. All right.
Please, think he changed.
He's from New York. Hometown guy. There you go. But it was funny. It's funny to see him show up like that, and I figured maybe they'll still change it because it's sort of like when War Machine came out. They announced them as War Machine. They had a few matches at War Machine, then they turned into War Raiders. So,
Well,
I mean, Punisher Martinez.
Well, I think we can definitely confirm that.
Well, then for other people that get called up quick, I wanted to bring up, but I forgot his name. Matt Riddle. I see him getting called up real quick.
I would have thought the same thing about Velveteen Dream, but I don't know about Matt Riddle.
I think the thing with Velveteen is the same thing as with what's her name? The Scottish woman that we just talked about. I keep forgetting her name. The crazy one.
Nikki.
I think that Nikki Cross. I think she just offers so much to the brand that it's just not worth bringing up. Like his merch is no for Velveteen.
Yeah,
I think he offers so much. Like he look at all these great matches that's there. Just when you're like, all right, he had a great one with Aleister Black. Then he has a great one with Ciampa, and I didn't even think that was going to be possible. And they had some amazing matches. I'm like, oh man. So then you just start thinking down the road. All right, who else could he have? He had the great matches with Ricochet. You know what I mean? He's got some amazing matches. His DVD or Blu-ray, when they do make one, is going to be full of NXT stuff. Even if he goes to the main roster, I can't see the main roster topping some of those matches.
You mentioned Aleister Black. I think Aleister Black is definitely long overdue to get the call up. But I will say,
congratulations to him and his wife, who's on SmackDown.
Oh yeah,
that's so craziness.
Yeah, that's right.
What's her name? I forgot her name. She's Sienna's manager.
Zelina Vega.
Zelina Vega, who was previously Austin Aries' fiance a year ago. So people move fast these days. They move fast. Dating's overrated. Just get straight to the point. Get married. Yeah. So who knows? I mean, right now they're separate. That's a different schedule, so they're traveling separate. So maybe he knows something we don't know.
He's definitely getting called up.
Yeah, get called up, spend more time, go SmackDown. I mean, he's quality right there.
I don't know if they're gonna put them on the same show because they see.
Did you see the Johnny Wrestling? Did you see that one with Aleister Black, the cage match?
I did see that match, and I saw the conclusion of the little storytelling they told at the end of the match.
Yeah.
See, the thing is this: one of those three. The way I look at it is this has to come to an end at some point. So one of those guys is definitely going to have to get called up.
Oh, Black is going to be the one. Black is because if you think about it, this was technically Black's first pin loss.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. You're right.
Because in the other time when he lost, it was somebody else who got pinned. This is it. He lost. So I have a feeling he's going to be the one that gets called up. He's that's money right there. He could definitely make it. He could fill that void that Undertaker left, the darkness and all that, with his entrance, and definitely fills that, and with a fresh feel. I mean, man, think of just the audience that don't have NXT, don't have the network, when they get to see Black and the way he could move and all the things he does in the ring, not just a gimmick, but his performance. They're gonna be amazed.
Yeah,
they're gonna be amazed because he does stuff that you don't expect someone big like that to do.
That's true.
So I'm looking forward to that because he's one. You can't bury that. You can't bury that. His presence alone, it's one of those type of things. Like you can't do it, even if you wanted to. Think how if you outside the box. We watch a lot of wrestling, we know. But if you tell somebody about Undertaker, that sounds like a laughable gimmick. What? A dead man guy gimmick? Oh, come on, that's like a zombie. That's stupid. He's super over when you watch him. He got over. Everything worked. Same thing. I mean, you can't bury it. This guy, same thing. You can say whatever you want. He comes out like he's believable. Like, oh shit, he's legit. Look at this guy. Got all the tattoos on him. He's living a gimmick.
Yeah.
Undertaker was living a gimmick. Got the devil tattoos all over his neck and his arms and all that stuff. Like, oh shit, okay. I see it now. The one person that I hope does not get called up, even if they do revamp everything, and I'm just scared, is Ricochet. That's my biggest fear. because he does not fit with SmackDown or Raw. He only fits on Lucha Underground and NXT and Japan, New Japan, or any promotion in Japan. He does not fit at all on Raw and SmackDown. I just can't see that. I cannot.
Hey, come on, listen. You had they had Mustafa Ali. He fit on SmackDown, so
man, I think Mustafa's better on the mic when it comes to things, and it's just something about it. Like Ricochet is awesome performer, but I feel like the way they usually treat guys like him, it's like high spots. That's it. It's like, all right, we need to put this guy in to do all the like what they did with Evan Bourne. Remember when they had him for a while? Do all these flips, do this and that. We're not really doing much with you, but hell, we'll probably put you in a tag team, and that's what they did. But man, I feel like that North American title, he should have that like Bruno had the main title. Have it like 10 years or something. Don't come up. Just stay the man there. Build that up. I don't know. I'm scared. I don't want to see him get demolished.
yeah, it's going. Well, eventually, I think eventually it is going to happen. Let's just hope that it's further down the road. Not anytime soon. And one last point I wanted to make in regards to the call-ups. You mentioned the War Raiders earlier. Mm-hmm. I do have a prediction that by the time WrestleMania weekend gets here, they will take them tag titles off of the Undisputed Era, and that Undisputed Era faction is going to get called up because they already had, we already saw Adam Cole in the Royal Rumble last year, and I know they had that little interview he had with his other two teammates saying, "Oh yeah." So I feel like that's definitely coming. But
and it sticks with the pattern because remember Sienna showed up at that Rumble and then he got called up.
Yep. Absolutely.
So they could definitely go. But the thing is, I think it really comes down to creative, and if they have anything for them to come up, or else you end up in the situation like Sanity, bring up a 3-man group and don't do anything with them.
That's true. Yes, that's very true.
And they had a mouthpiece. And they still didn't do anything. And Cole is their mouthpiece here. And the last thing we need is for that to go silent. So they have to. It sucks. It really sucks.
They have to figure it out.
They have to figure it out. And I think, if anything, figuring out means hiring more creative. Because from what I understand, there's only one creative group that's in charge of SmackDown and Raw and 205. They do all of it.
Oh,
because when it comes to the NXT, from what I understand, it's just Triple H and with input from I'm losing it now. The general manager, William Regal, because he's also their talent scout. A lot of these talent guys that we see coming into it, it's from him. He's and they're taking his word for it, and he's bringing in quality talent. He's got Ricochet and all the other people that he got. The fact that he was able to get Zack Sabre Jr. for the Cruiserweight Classic, another big indie name star. That's William Regal pulling his strings. He's respected, so, and he knows great talent when he sees it. He's a great talent scout. So we'll see.
That's true.
What I'm wondering with the Velveteen, though, if he does get called up, is he going to do the same gimmick of when he would rip off Hulk Hogan, do the whole thing? Is he still going to do that with the ear and the leg drop and stuff? Because, I wonder how much of that is him wanting to do that, or WWE, or Triple H saying, "Hey, do this. This will be funny." I don't know. Because you remember from the Tough Enough, Hogan said he didn't see anything in him, that he didn't see him making it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? But I can't really fault Hogan for that, because what makes Velveteen Dream so special is the character. It's not him. It's not his. It's not like it's not like if somebody like Johnny Wrestling, he's just Johnny Wrestling. You know what I mean? He's just coming on, hey, this is me. That I'm just talking to regular. No, Velveteen's putting on a character. That character was not in Tough Enough. You know what I mean? I think if he would have showed up in Tough Enough when they were like, hey, introduce, if you were to make your own character, what would it be like? If he would have introduced that, I think they would have been like, yeah, this could work. But he didn't. That's not what he offered. It was a different time. So I can't really fault Hogan for that. But then again, Daniel Bryan saw something in him and said it. So yeah, he's going to be big. I see it. So, and it worked out. It worked out. But I think that's why I wonder, like, who's telling Velveteen to troll Hulk Hogan? Because we know Triple H has to approve it because they have to pay for the airbrushing of the trunks and all that stuff.
That's true. You're right about that.
So they're approving it.
Maybe it's a way to ease Hulk Hogan back into our hearts.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe we're all being worked. Even with the Twitter response when Hulk Hogan was talking about, hey, we should team up this and he's like, what did he say? I don't need your help, Terry, or something like that. I mean, maybe we're all being worked on this, and this is their, like you said, maybe this is their way of easing him in. That there's going to be some kind of thing where he's getting beaten in the ring or something's happening, and I think if he does come in, he'll come in as a heel, Velveteen to the main roster.
Yeah.
And then have Hulk Hogan come in and help him out for something. I think that'd be funny. Like if he reaches out like for the old, reach out for a tag, but there's nobody there type of thing, but he reaches and they're like, why is he reaching for a tag? There's no one there. And then you hear dan, 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 and Hogan comes in. I think that'll be hilarious. But if he comes in as a heel, it'll be the Hollywood song. And then they could revive the NWO with Velveteen Dream in it. I think that would be funny. There you go, creative. I just gave you something crazy for 2019.
Yeah.
A revival of NWO with Velveteen Dream as a leader.
Oh boy, that'd be crazy.
No.
Yep, he could be the mouthpiece. He could do it. They say, there you go. You laugh. That would be funny. That would be funny. So, you know what? You could make that dream come true.
I would want
WWE 2K19 Universe Mode.
Oh yeah, that's how you can make it come true.
That's how you make that dream happen. See, and that's what they don't do. They don't do any of that. So they don't even properly advertise. Just that mode alone, you could sell that and just advertise it on their product. It was like, hey, you see all these changes we just made? You could make these changes in your game too. Go to Universe Mode and you could make all these roster changes. Call up the NXT stars just like here and do that. They don't do it.
The only thing they advertise is the created wrestlers and arenas, because those are the people that update. They update everything in that game.
Yeah,
and they should be getting paid to do all that they do.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's the other part of it. If the 2K or whoever else is going to be behind the WWE product and behind the scenes, they should be doing that updating for the Universe Mode. They should make that coincide with the live event like the way EA does for their sport games, where you can, on the main route see like, oh, these are the upcoming games, in the division that you picked, the league that you picked, so you can play those matchups. They should do that. I know they can't predict the matches, what happened, because we don't even know until the day of. But you could put the rosters. You could do roster updates.
Oh, they could definitely do the roster updates.
Look, we know in advance of all the people that are showing up. We just saw those promo videos last week. So they keep in contact and make that happen. Freaking instead of everybody's outdated and stuff. Oh, so bad.
Yep, right about that.
So bad. They just.
Absolutely right about that. So,
like you said, got to make War Raiders a tag team. You have to manually do that. You have to make them a tag team.
Yeah, I had to laugh for that one.
Are you kidding?
The thing is, not only do you have to make them a tag team, but then you got to go in and edit the entrance as well.
Yeah,
and there is a War Raiders entrance.
Yeah, it's there. It's already there. Just they didn't even have it linked. How do you not have it linked? They're a tag team. They're advertised as a tag team, the content, and they're seen as single wrestlers in the game. That doesn't make sense.
It really doesn't.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all I have to say. I think it'll be all right. I think the fact they acknowledged it is a good thing. And let's just hope that they live up to what they said. They're gonna make changes. They're gonna take out all the stuff that sucks and put all the stuff that we want. How do they?
McMahon's.
How do they? Yeah, the fans want. That's the thing. That's what. How do they know what we want? They don't know. They don't really know. They know the booing and all that stuff, but how do they really know? Which is why I think they're gonna bring back that whole voting system.
Which is why I'm telling you that it's a work, and they're not really, they don't care. They said what they said so that people would watch. And the only reason why they said what they said is because they wanted to make sure there was eyes when they announced the call-ups.
Yeah.
That was literally it.
The call-up was the only interesting thing about the Raw show. That news. That was the only interesting aspect about it. But still, there wasn't no further information on when or none of this stuff. So
And here's also another thing that really made me angry. Why not just surprise everyone at the Royal Rumble?
yep.
They should have never announced anything. Just have these surprises Royal Rumble. That was it.
Well, my guess is that there's still going to be some surprises. They have to have some type of surprise, and then even for the Raw after Mania, there has to be some surprise.
There was no reason for EC3 to be announced. He could have just made his thing on whatchamaface, Royal Rumble. Yeah, announce little girl that Lacey, no one really cares about. Her. Nikki Cross, I mean, even if she appeared, no one would even. I would have to actually see her in a match to believe that she is a part of Raw or SmackDown.
I want her to still be part of Sanity. She could just be the female member of Sanity.
I don't think so. I don't. Right now, they're treating her like they did Summer. So remember Summer Eve or whatever her name was.
Summer Rae.
Summer Rae. There you go. Can't even remember her name. That's how forgettable she was. Remember when they kept changing her gimmick?
Yeah.
And they have her come out, and then she never came out again.
But Summer Rae really couldn't wrestle. That was an issue. She was pretty, She was doing commercials for Hardee's and stuff. I remember seeing her Hardee's commercials, eating burgers.
I don't know. But he couldn't wrestle. They know what to do with her. And they're kind of giving her they gave Nikki Cross the same treatment. They don't know what to do with her, and she can actually wrestle.
Oh, talking about wrestle and all that. Is Daniel Bryan okay? Because he took that Mustafa inverted. He was all right. That looked like just needed a head. Looked devastating.
And wait a second. I have to stop you right there. It's not Daniel Bryan. It is the new Daniel Bryan. So I guess that's the name now.
Oh, thanks. We went through that through Reddit products with Apple and Nintendo with their new. I don't believe it. No, it's the same shit. Unless you rebrand it, give it a different name, not adding new in front of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he looks happier as a heel anyway, and I like him as a heel.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good as the heel. The explanation.
Know fully what he's just like a weird concept with him with the whole vegan thing as well. It's just weird.
Well, he is a vegan in real life. I mean,
vegan, but he's like, I'm a heel now because you're destroying the planet. It's like an anti-planet.
It's a continuation of CM Punk. Remember that when he was doing that with the right to censor and all that?
I do remember that. Yeah, that's what I did think about that. You're right about that.
Because he's vegan or vegetarian. I don't know. I think vegan's the next level up.
No, I thought he was just straight edge.
He was straight edge, and also he doesn't need all the meat and all that stuff.
Really?
I'm pretty sure.
Ate meat.
Yeah. We'll see. So, any final thoughts?
What's the next pay-per-view? What's the next one?
Royal Rumble.
Is it Royal Rumble? Really?
Oh, yes.
I feel like there's something else happening before that.
No, it's forgettable.
There's so many.
The NXT takeover event is in Phoenix.
All right, NXT Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
next
so
month is going to be fun. In a couple of weeks. Royal
couple of
Rumble.
weeks. All right, that'll be all right. So by then we'll have the official cards, and then we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I did see today that they said that they had announced Becky versus Oscar, but then they rescinded. They said they were going to reevaluate that, so it's not confirmed. So yeah, that's interesting. We'll
Yeah,
see about
Oscar's
that.
another one. She's in the history books. Longest champ, female champ, or any champ for the longest, right? Was it she had it for like over a year?
Yeah.
For NXT?
NXT.
You know, and then she shows up on Raw and nothing. They had no clue what to do with her.
And then
Then
they
she went to
moved her
SmackDown. Had
Yeah.
no clue what to do. She was freaking doing matches with Carmella in the shark cage. Remember that whole thing?
Yes.
The Ellsworth?
That was so bad.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, I remember that. Also, really random. I am predicting that we will get the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen because of that whole Ronda thing.
You know what? I do want to make a quick comment on that. I was unaware until I saw NXT this week, and the other 2 girls are on NXT now, so that's definitely going to happen sooner rather than later. Because I didn't even know that they were on NXT now.
Oh yeah, no, they're there, but they're still green. They're real green. They lost this week. They're still.
Yeah, they did lost. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna take time for them to get there. I mean, right now the only one that's good to go is Shayna. Shayna is great on the mic. She's great in the ring. She's good to go whenever. Right now she's champ and it fits her.
Well, no, the other 2 girls are perfect because now they're portraying Sasha and Bailey as also losers. So that's perfect.
There you go.
Perfectly lined up.
Yeah. It's gonna take time. Yeah, but I know if they do something like that, it's too early. No, I don't think they can rush it for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that's probably too soon.
It's too soon of a. I mean, right now, story wise, that's not where they're at.
Yeah, they need to focus on. I mean, I have to give a shout out to Rams because he said that it's probably going to be Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda in the 3-way. But I think it should definitely be Becky and Ronda since it seems like they have been building to that, but then she got the injury, so that match is going to happen at some point.
You know what? He brings that up. That's something I want to see less of in 2019. 3-ways, 4-ways, 3-ways, 4-ways, 3-ways, 4. There were so many of those in 2018.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So many of those. It's like I just want to see these 2 go at it. I want to see an actual finish. Don't throw in a third wheel that we know is going to be the one that gets pinned. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I do agree with that because I mean Becky and Ronda are still going at each other on social media, everything, and they've been doing this even instead of before the match even went down, and even when all this other stuff was going on. So I definitely want to see them 2 settle their differences in the ring, 1-on-1. But we'll see.
It's funny to see Becky go, "I'm the man." I'm like, yeah, all right, that's you're the man. You sound like the man too, so it works. You're the man. So I'm glad to see it's working out for her. She's been with them for a long time. She's been in the business for a long time. I remember that they did that special on NXT. She was like a runaway or something, 16-year-old runaway that wanted to go and get into wrestling. Yeah, they did this whole like backstory, talking about how she's been there wrestling for years over throughout Ireland, and that's how she knows Finn because they wrestled at the same promotions, and her family didn't want her to wrestle or something, and she just said fuck it, and she left. And then she just started traveling around, like joining the circus type of thing.
That's exactly what it was.
She just left. Yeah. I think she's still dating like some UFC guy. I wonder if he's going to get into wrestling now. Yeah, she's dating some UFC dude. I know Rhonda's boyfriend or husband, sorry. Miller, he's there. I think his name is Miller. He's over at the Performance Center. There's pictures that people posted of that, seeing him. I think he could have been just working out, but who knows? Cain Velasquez, he was there too, so he could be that big surprise. because supposedly that's legit. Because I mean, he comes from a amateur wrestling background, so that's not foreign to him. But apparently, he's with WWE. They signed him to some kind of deal, and he's there at the Performance Center doing stuff. So that's somebody I don't know if they would bring to NXT or just you just call him up. He's a big name star. He was another UFC heavyweight champ.
Yeah, that's true.
That's somebody I don't know. You just bring him straight up. But then again, I think it all depends on how quickly you pick up the sports entertainment part of it. Till this day, whenever you hear any of these insiders or people there, Bruce Pritchard and all one talk about people from the outside coming in, the only one that really just picked it up 100% was Kurt Angle. They always say he was like, we showed him once and he learned it and mastered it. It was natural to him. Everybody else, it takes time. Kurt, remember Ken Shamrock? It took him time. So.
Oh yeah.
Rhonda is taking her time. She's getting there. I'm sure within a year or two she'll be awesome. Because she really wants to do it. You have to have that desire to want to do it and not just show up for a paycheck. Just like any job. Don't phone it in. If you don't phone it in, you come into work, it comes off. People see it. And that's it. And that's the thing with her. They knew even before she got signed, she was a wrestling fan. She was always going to wrestling shows, they would always show her in the crowd, did the 4 Horse thing. She always doing shows and appearances with Roddy Piper on different MMA events because Piper's son was also into MMA. He was a fighter. Maybe he still is. I'm not sure. So all that stuff carried over. So when she did show up, the quote smart marks, they knew, oh, she's legit. She does want to be here. This isn't a cash grab because MMA's over. She wants to be a wrestler. Now David Arquette, that's a different story. We'll see how that pans out. I don't know. Did you guys see that shit? That bloody match that he had, that hardcore match?
Yeah.
Oh my Lord, that was brutal.
And he is no chicken. He's an old.
Yeah, exactly. I guess he's paying his dues. If you're gonna go that route to get in the biz, you're getting your cred because he got rushed to the hospital after that one.
I remember that.
Oh man,
yeah. He needs to stay over there. No call up for him.
No call up, right? Yeah, but that's the thing. It's tough with that because it just brings back so many bad memories.
Yeah, and remember, he's associated with WCW. He's a champ.
He's a champ, and that's the thing. If they bring him in, they can't bring him in as an indie guy. They have to bring him in as the actor, who was a WCW champ. So then he would. Oh, and it just no. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. There's only one way they can do it. There's only one way they can do it. And this is how they do it whenever they're not sure how to bring someone in and they're not sure about the response they're going to get. You throw them in the Rumble. That's the only way. You take them, you just throw them in. Hear if there's boos or cheers or any of that stuff. Remember Goldust? When he decided to go back as Goldust? They threw him in the Rumble. People freaked out. Cheering, welcome back, the whole thing. There you go. Listen to the audience. They're like, all right, they want him back. They're over. He's over again. Like nothing happened. He's back.
That is true. That's a really great indicator for things. Well, remember AJ Styles. Remember how that went down. People lost their minds.
Yeah, that's it. I wish they would have showed people like they showed in the Nintendo event. I'm sure people were fainting in that arena. Oh my God, AJ. Damn. I just wish Sting never got hurt. Damn you, Seth Rollins. Damn you. Think of all the matches we could have had. That Undertaker Sting match would have happened.
Maybe Seth did us all a favor. WWE was a sinking ship. And imagine Sting being involved in that. And him having to come out with that horrible music, by the way.
You didn't like his new music?
I hated his new music.
Oh.
I deserve the old Sting music, even if it was just once. Because that was Sting we wanted. We wanted the bat Sting.
I want the bad Sting right now. He does. I get it. He does. He can't wrestle. Don't wrestle. Just come in all crowed with the bat, and you talk on the mic and have a group, and then just hit people with the bat. That's it. Don't even wrestle. That would be awesome. That's what I want. Bring him back just to do that. I know he's still part of their legend payroll thing because they still pay him to do appearances and stuff. You know, so I'm surprised. I'm really surprised they haven't done anything with him. He hasn't shown up at all.
And his neck hole thing is like it's healed. They need to do something.
Yeah, no, he fixed all that, and he's not, wrestling.
Repeat
He's just doing
legend
appearances.
and throw him on there.
Yeah. How about that? When Hogan comes back and starts doing all that stuff, and then have the lights go out, and then just have Sting pop up in the ring, and then just hit him with a bat and see how the fans react. I don't know. I think Sting should be there forever, just doing that. He doesn't even have to get on the mic. Just hit people with bats. Lights go out. Sort of like Sabu. I want Sabu back. Also, I don't care what he says online. I love Sabu. That's another one. Don't meet your idols. Just love his work. I don't care what he says about Jim Ross. I don't care. I don't need to see that. I just like to see the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal maniac in the ring. That's it. That's all I want to see. Sabu for life. Rob Van Dam for life. Bring him back. He's so high. Oh my god! I saw an interview he did over the summer. Oh man, he's got this new girl now that he's dating, and she's just as high as him. But it's funny. He's like, oh, he was so high. But he still wrestles. Remember, I sent you that video, Dana. I know some people. I was telling people like, no, he don't wrestle. No, but he wrestles. He just like became champ at some other promotion. He wrestles. Oh, and Jerry Lynn's a ref. That's it. Jerry Lynn's also a ref. He turned into a ref. He's in ROH as a ref, and I think somewhere else is a ref. Is it Impact? Maybe it's Impact as a ref. But I know he's a ref. So, and House of Hardcore. That's another promotion. Hopefully, they'll pick up some steam in 2019.
We'll see.
But it's tough because it all comes down to money and TV time and trying to get a foothold in that market and getting talent and I don't know. But then again, Impact is still around, so maybe it's not that tough. Right? I'm telling you, man, I could have swore that thing was going to be over. Once everybody left, I'm like, it's done. It's done.
Nope, everyone wants to be a wrestler. There's a new wrestler every day. There you go.
Well, that's it. They started their own little school, and that's what they said. That's when they let go of all those guys that wanted their big payouts. Bobby Lashley and everybody like, yeah, we're not going to pay. We'll just make new guys. Really? Well, it worked. They did it. They did it.
We'll see.
We will see. And there you go. I think I'm done. I don't know. Got anything else you want to say?
Oh no. How about you, Dana?
No.
Yeah. So definitely thank you all for checking out this week's show. We are definitely going to do something for Royal Rumble NXT, so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, I just want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Because we only got a couple of days away. But as for shout outs, how about you go first, Adam? Any shout outs that you want to give?
Shout out to everybody here. Shout out to everybody who loves the division, the game. It's a beautiful game. Gift from the gods. Massive games. Thank you. Thank you for creating that. Shout out to everybody on Throwdown, the podcast. And shout out to everybody on Co-op podcast. And shout out to Michael Jackson. Rest in peace. I miss you every day. And it's Christmas time. Listen to some Mariah Carey and all that other Christmas jazz stuff and have fun. New Year's coming. New wrestling's coming. New matchups are coming. That's what Triple H says. So we gotta take his word for it. I believe him.
Yeah. Anyway, when he meant that, and he meant never. But we'll see. Hopefully. How about you, Dana? Any shout outs you want to give?
Shout outs to everyone listening, and shout out to Santa Claus. And don't believe the hype. Do not believe Vince.
There you go.
Hey, don't believe him. Believe Triple H. Triple H is the one that looked into the camera. He looked into my soul.
Don't believe anyone whose last name is McMahon or what is it, Levesque.
Levesque. Yeah.
Agreed. All right. Thank you all for listening. We'll talk to you next time.